Hello and welcome to What the F*** Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Amditis. Let's get to it. It's Tuesday, October 18th, 2022. Welcome to day 637. Biden pledged to codify Roe v. Wade into law if Democrats retain control of Congress in the upcoming November elections. During a speech at a Democratic National Committee event, Biden promised that the first bill he sends to Congress next year would be legislation restoring abortion rights under Roe v. Wade, the landmark decision the Supreme Court overruled in June. Biden said, quote, "If you care about the right to choose, you got to vote," adding, quote, "If Republicans get their way with a national ban, it won't matter where you live in America," end quote. While Biden has repeatedly advocated for changing the Senate's 60-vote filibuster requirement to protect the right to an abortion and a broader constitutional right to privacy, at least two Democrats, Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, have said that they would oppose the move. Earlier this year, Biden promised to codify Roe v. Wade if voters elected two more Democrats to the Senate. Moving on, the Interior Department announced the first ever lease sale for offshore wind development in the Pacific Ocean. The December 6th sale will target 5 areas in the Pacific Ocean off of central and northern California, which could produce more than 4.5 gigawatts of energy when fully developed, enough to power more than 1.5 million homes. The Biden administration is aiming to develop 30 gigawatts of offshore wind power by 2030 using traditional technology, which would be enough to power 10 million homes, and they're trying for an additional 15 gigawatts of floating offshore wind, which could power another 5 million homes. The Biden administration also announced plans to release 10 to 15 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve in an attempt to keep gasoline prices from climbing. In March, the White House said it planned to release 180 million barrels of crude oil into the market throughout the end of the year. There are about 15 million barrels remaining since the program was put into effect. The national average price of gas was about $3.87 a gallon. Moving on, the primary source for the Trump-Russia dossier was acquitted of 4 counts of lying to the FBI about where he got his information for the 2016 Steele dossier. In 2019, Attorney General William Barr asked John Durham to review the FBI's investigation into the Trump campaign in 2016. Since then, Durham has lost both of the cases that he's brought to trial as part of his investigation. The trial against Igor Danchenko, the analyst who was acquitted, who was a primary source for the Steele dossier, is expected to be the special counsel's last prosecution. And finally, the special master reviewing documents that were seized from Mar-a-Lago by the FBI warned Trump's lawyers that there was a certain incongruity to their executive privilege claims, that at least one document was both Trump's personal property and government property. Judge Raymond Dearie said of the documents over which Trump is seeking to claim privilege, quote, "It's a little perplexing as I go through the log. What's the expression, where's the beef? I need some beef," end quote. Dearie, who is reviewing the documents to determine which ones the DOJ can use in its criminal investigation, said neither side has provided him with enough facts to make recommendations about Trump's claims that certain documents were protected either by attorney-client or executive privilege. Quote, "I don't want to be dealing with nonsense objections, nonsense assertions," Dearie said. And in the polls, the New York Times says 19% of voters believe recent disagreements with family or friends over political issues have hurt their relationships, and 48% of voters say a person's political views reflect whether or not they're a good person. Another New York Times poll says 64% of voters believe the country is moving in the wrong direction, with 26% naming the economy and 18% naming inflation as the most important problems facing the country today. 24% say the U.S. is on the right track. CBS News says 65% of voters say the economy is getting worse, 68% say the Biden administration could be doing more to combat inflation, and an AP NORC poll says 70% of voters are dissatisfied with the way things are going in the U.S. today. 64% are pessimistic about the state of politics in the country. That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Amditis.